For today's notes, we're going to be learning how to change between forms. Right now we have standard form, and we have to learn how to change this to vertex and intercept form, as well as find the rest of the characteristics and graph the function. Now, if you guys see here, I already started off with writing the vertex form for the x coordinate. Remember, the x is also our h, okay? So here I have negative b over 2a, negative, and then b over 2a. Keep in mind that I'm getting my b and my a from my standard form. Here, my b is 8, and my a is 1. So that negative 8 becomes negative 8, and 2 times 1 becomes 2. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. After I find my x coordinate, I'm going to find for my y. Keep in mind that my y is also my k. And for this one is a little bit more easier. All you have to do is plug in this negative 4 for every x we see in the standard form. So we have x squared plus 8x plus 12. Notice how I switched all my x's for parentheses. And then for x, we have negative 4 and negative 4. Gives me that y equals negative 4. So now that I know what my x and my y is, I can go ahead and put the negative 4 and negative 4. Remember, we always like to put our vertex in the middle. Now that I have my vertex, I can go ahead and finish this right here. And I can use the formula that's above. So y equals, we don't have any a's right now. And notice how here our a is 1. So we don't have to write anything down. So we have x, and then our x, which is also our h, is negative 4. We do the opposite, which gives us positive 4. And then our k is negative 4. That one stays the same. So this is our vertex form right here. I can go ahead and find my graph. So I have parentheses x plus 4 squared minus 4. I can go to table. Keep in mind that this calculator is different from yours, but it still gives you the same answers. So here we would have negative 2 and negative 3, negative 5 and negative 6. When x is negative 2, y is 0. When x is negative 3, it's negative 3. And so on and so on. I can go ahead and graph these already. I have negative 2, 0, negative 2, 0, negative 3, negative 3, negative 4, negative 4, negative 5, negative 3, and negative 6, 0. Now we can go ahead and draw this right here. Keep in mind that we need that U-shaped. Please do not do a V, because again, a V makes an absolute function. So now that I have this, well, I already know what my vertex is, so I can go ahead and answer that. My vertex is negative 4, negative 4. And all I did is I looked in my graph, as well as I looked here for my vertex form. My line of symmetry is always x equals, and whatever my x for our vertex is. In this case, it'd be negative 4. I move on for my max and min. Right now it's in the bottom, so we have our min, and our min is at negative 4, negative 4. Our domain is always all real numbers or from negative infinity to positive infinity. That will never change unless we talk about a word problem. And our range is always with our min or max. So if you guys see here, we start in terms of range, it's our y values. This is our y-axis. So we start at -4, and the graph is above this line. So we're going to go up to infinity because we don't have any stopping point in the top. So our range is from -4 to positive infinity. Keep in mind that that -4 should have a bracket. Our solution, then wherever it's crossing our x-axis, in this case it's -6 and -2. So -6, -2. And then we just do the same thing here. We have -6, 0, and -2, 0. And now we're almost done. If we can do our x-intercept form now, that's going to be very easy. We can look at our x-intercepts here, or we can use the factored form for this one. Now, if we do the factored form, remember we have to do that big X. So when we do that big X, 12 goes up top, 8 goes in the bottom. So if I list out my factors of 12, I have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. I have to find which of these pairs gives me to add 8. It is 2 and 6. So I have 2 parentheses. I don't have an A, so it's just an X, and it'd be +2 plus 6. And this would just go right here. So my x-intercept is y equals x plus 2, x plus 6. And I am done. Now it is, again, notice how I did every single thing just by having the standard form. If we look at the next set of notes, now it looks like it's blank. But if you can see here in the bottom, we have our solutions. What does that mean when we have our solutions? If you look at the previous form, our x-intercepts and our solutions are exactly the same as our x-intercept. It's just changing the sign. So if I have my solutions to be 0, -4, well, I know that this -4 has to be the opposite. So I know that it is x plus 4. Now, it might be tricky because you guys might think, well, we can't have a -0. That is true. Since x equals 0, remember when we would have, and when we would take a GCF out, it'd just be x. So this x equals 0 is just simply x. And then we have y equals x times x plus 4. So that's our x-intercept. Now, to get from x-intercept to standard form, all we have to do is distribute this x. So if I write it down again, y equals x plus 4. I'm just going to distribute x times x is x squared, and x times 4 is plus 4x. And that is my standard form. Now, we don't have a c, and that is totally fine. We can still continue with our vertex. If you remember, we don't need our c for our vertex formula. Our vertex formula is x equals -b over 2a. Now, remember, our a in this case would be 1, and our b would be 4. So I'm going to go ahead and replace my letters with the numbers. So b is 4, and A is 1. We have a negative with a positive 4, which becomes negative 4, and 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 4 divided by 2, x equals negative 2. I can go back and use this and find my y. So I have x squared plus 4x. I'm going to replace my x's for that negative 2. If I'm going to bring back my calculator, I have negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2. And my y would be negative 4. So now I know that my y equals negative 4. Again, I want my vertex to be right here because it's simply just easier. So I have x equals negative 2, y equals negative 4. And before graphing and finding my table, I can go ahead and finish the vertex form. Again, A is 1, so we don't need to plug anything. We have y equals x squared. This should always be the same. The only thing you're changing is the sign, and then your h and k and your sign here as well. Keep in mind that our x is our h. Right now it's negative 2, so it changes to positive 2. And our y is our k, which stays the same. This would be minus 4. So this is my answer for vertex form. Without graphing, I can already find this. Why? Because our vertex form is our h and our k. Remember that. So this is negative 2, this is positive 2. So when I want to find my vertex, it's the opposite. In this case, it'd be negative 2. And then my k is negative 4. My line of symmetry is x equals my x coordinate, which is negative 2. And then we can hold on to the max and min until we graph. I'm going to bring back my calculator. I'm going to delete what I have. And I'm going to write down my formula, or my function. So I have x squared plus 4x. I go to table. I look for my vertex, which is negative 2. I know that my numbers that follow would be negative 1 and 0. Or I guess it could be 0. Negative 1 if we would follow the pattern of the other one. And then this would be negative 3. And this would be negative 4. It really doesn't matter where you put the 2, because it's going to be the same. All right. So here, when x is 0, y is 0. When x is negative 1, it's negative 3. When x is negative 2, it's negative 4, which we already have. Negative 3 is negative 3, and negative 4 is 0. I can go ahead and graph that. 0, 0 is in the center. Negative 1 is with negative 3. Negative 2 is with negative 4. Negative 3 is with negative 3. And negative 4 is with 0. I can go ahead and make my U-shaped parabola. And there's my graph. So I can go ahead and put this aside. And now we can clearly see that we have a minimum again. Another way to knowing that we had a minimum is that we don't have a negative in the front. So since we don't have a negative in the front, we should already know that our graph is happy. And when our graph is happy, we have a minimum. At negative 2, negative 4. So our domain will always be all real numbers or from negative infinity to positive infinity. Our range right now is our y's. And we start at -4 and we go up to infinity. So our range is from -4 to positive infinity. We already have our solutions, and our x-intercepts are just exactly like our solutions, but with the 0 included. So we have 2 different x-intercepts. If you guys can also see here, x-intercept is whenever we cross this line. In this case, we cross at -4, 0, as well as 0, 0. So this concludes today's notes. You can go ahead and check the homework. The homework is going to be in a PDF file, but you will have to submit the homework on Desmos. I'm going to give you guys an additional video on how to submit something on Desmos. Okay? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.